this train. So Lord, we thank you in advance. Get ready, get ready.
Good God afternoon, people of God. You have tuned into the Solutions. I am your host, the Minister Corey Wright, and as always, we know what the problems are. We know we need to do to solve them. What I offer on this platform is solutions, a dedicated active action that bring about true change, not just talked about change, and no excuses. Excuses are man's tools of incompetence that build bridges to nowhere and monuments of nothing. Broadcast live from IntellectualRadio.com and our high radio station. People of God, hey, today's a powerful subject. Just to let everyone know, man, I got my man Spook watching. Wow. We're taking donations. You can go on my Facebook page. I have a GoFund page set up. This is good ground. The Bible said you sow into a good man, a woman of God. Heaven honors it. Darlene, I'm glad you're here. The man, I'm glad you're here. Stress is a killer. Today, we're talking about stress. We're talking about the silent killer, stress. And we're going to talk about how it affects people. My co-host, she couldn't make it today. She had some family emergencies she had to deal with. So let's keep her up in her prayers. But she was one who was paralyzed from stress. And it was her faith in God that allowed her to walk up out of the hospital. And people of God, we have to really discuss and attack this serious silent killer. We have a lot of things like diabetes, we have AIDS, we have heart disease, we have a lot of other diseases and things that people talk about more often, but they never talk about that silent killer, which is stress. Stress will kill you faster than anything. The problem with stress is that most people don't know how stressed they are. They don't understand how stress is linked to a lot of emotional problems, a lot of psychological issues, a lot of health issues. Stress is related, and stress will take you out. So, people of God, you have to identify the serial killer and you have to do something. And remember, I said serial killer because it is a serial killer because it kills everybody relentlessly and without any conscience. Stress, people of God. Let me see what my man Lamel said. Our environment, our diets are destroying us eternally. That is so true. That is so true that it is happening. And it is causing to our stress. And believe me, it's killing us along with our emotional state, our physical content, and who we are, our spiritual content. It is so many factors to stress. And people, we're going to talk about a lot of them today. And if you and believe me, you know when you stress, and we're going to identify that. But let me just start to say there are numerous emotional, physical disorders that have been linked to stress, including depression, anxiety, heart attack, stroke, hypertension, immune system disturbances that increase it to infections because of stress. There are a host of a bunch of disorders ranging from common herpes to AIDS to certain cancers are direct results of stress. And believe it or not, there are some things that has to happen prior to that. But stress makes them just that much powerful. Stress multiplies the deficiencies you have in your body by 10 times greater. So if you are sick and you are going through something, that stress from that is multiplying it almost 10 times. So if you have a ant, and you can look how small an ant is, but could you imagine dealing with an ant 10 times the size of an ant, or dealing with something, even anything 10 times its size? And there are some things that we are dealing with through stress, that stress is making it 10 times greater because of stress. Also, in addition, stress can be direct effect of skin rashes, atomic dermatitis, and it can destroy our gastric system. I ain't gonna try to say all the big words, even though I was writing them down, but it can destroy your body. And we're gonna get into that because it not only affects your mind, but it destroys your body. And the reason why is because your body doesn't understand that this is all in your mind. Your mind is affecting your body because of the stress that you're going through. So it does everything. So remember, if you are in a stressful situation, whatever you're dealing with, it could be high blood pressure, it could be diabetes, it could be whatever you're dealing with. Stress is multiplying it by 10 times. So whatever you're dealing with, um, it's going to increase 10 times more because of stress. Now, there are some things, and I'm not being making light about things, because right now, let me see what April said. Bad connection on my end. Have a great show, productive show. Bless you. I'll watch you on my connections better. One love. I appreciate it, April. I appreciate it. Love you too. That it increases things by so much, and we're going to get into some signs and symptoms of stress, because a lot of people are walking around here walking dead. And what I mean by that, they're so stressed that they don't even understand it. And they're in positions, they're in jobs, they're in relationships, they're in situations that they are totally stressed and don't even realize they are stressed. And that's what makes this a silent killer, because it's dangerous. Because some people have made it their way of life to make broken things work. And that's one thing about our community, especially the Afro-American community. When I was coming up, my mom and my grandma knew how to make $1 out of 15 cents. And even though they did and they worked miracles, it was still a stressful situation. And there are some people are tied to jobs because of the pay, because of their responsibilities, because of certain things that they are tied in, that they can't get away from stress. And people, you only got one life. You only got one up to bat. So you have to make it in your mind that I'm going to make a change. I have been contemplating for years to make a change in my life, to get my own business, because you know what? It doesn't matter. I got a good job, make good money, but I'm still stressed. And it's not stress so much that I can't handle, but it's stress not doing what God, all the full capabilities of what God has given me to do. And I was thinking about that. When is there a right time? See, a lot of times we're waiting for the right time to make a decision, but that could be too late when the right time. And I'm realizing that people of God, to get out of stressful situation, there is never going to be the right time, because why would the devil want to get you or let you leave a stressful situation? Not all the time. So we have to understand the power of stress. And stress is so powerful because stress is a great hidden killer, and it's hidden from us. People that's going through stress every single day and don't even know that they're stressed. It could be stress of losing somebody or losing a loved one. It could be medical stress. I have my future wife right now is in a hospital. She has a few tests she's going through. Having a kidney transplant. They have to take care of her and make sure she's kept. So one thing I do, and I'm there with her every day. I've been there with her every day. I keep her laughing. I keep her mind off the things she has to go through, and I bring her chicken and I bring her stuff to make her laugh and smile. I have the medical staff because I love her, but you know what? I'm not going to let her go to a stressful, dark place, because you know why? It's a spirit. Thank you, Tracy. My homegirl, Tracy Ransom. It is a spirit, and sometimes you got to step in the gap of those spirits. So you got to say to yourself, I'm going to be positive, just like we talked about Joseph yesterday. About Joseph, he going from the pit to the palace, but it didn't matter if he was in the pit, in jail, or in the palace. He always kept God there. Let me see what he said. Lamel said, Leah Brown said, never wait to get the ideal situation. He said, act. And you know what? I'm going to act on that. And I'm going to act on that really, really soon. I'm making provision for that now, because you know why? I'd rather fail, like Denzel Washington say, if I'm going to fail big. And you know what? I'd rather fail big, because you know why? I would hate to live my life, with regrets. And like Les Brown said, the greatest and the most talent you'll ever see is in the cemetery. People who die full, and I don't want to die full. You know what I mean? I want to take my money, because you think about something. All the money you save in your pensions, all the money you save in your savings and your defers, they take your money and make millions off your money and give you the residual off of it. Instead of you taking your money, you investing your money, because you know what? there's a two from. You can fail or you can succeed. But I'd rather fail trying than succeed not trying. Let me say that again. I'd rather fail trying than succeed not trying. And if I can do it and somebody else can do it, I can do it. So that's where I'm at. But people of God, let's talk about this silent killer. And let's talk about these different symptoms and signs to see if you are a stressful person or are you in a stressful situation and knowing that you need to change. Because I don't want to give you this information and you continue to stay in that stressful situation. Because sometimes you could be in a stressful situation that is normal to somebody else. See, there are those people that stay in those stressful situations because you know what? They're used to this just the way it is. That's something that bakes my noodle and burns me up. That's just the way it is. It ain't just the way it is, because the Bible said you ask God in Jesus' name, you know, he'll give you a heart's desire. So living up below your kingdom standards or living below what God has for you is not normal. There are stress. You know what? We're going to go through trials and tribulations. The Bible says that, but we don't have to stay in them. And then it's how you deal with them. Because see, wherever Joseph went at, God was with him. Even from the pit to the prison to the palace. So you got to understand, wherever you in, God is over you, but it is not normal. You know, that's why I love the woman I'm with today, because she gives me something that I've never had in a relationship my entire life, and that is peace. When you got peace, you don't have stress. And there are too many people that's trying to make stressful, unpeaceful situations work. It will not work. I don't care how much you love. I don't care how fine it is. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how many times you've been married. I don't care what you got tied up. If you have no peace, then you are in a stressful situation and you are killing yourself. I'm telling you some people, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this real. There are some people committing suicide daily. When you are in a stressful situation, you are committing suicide. You are killing yourself. There are so many people in mass productions creating or committing genocide on themselves, on their families, because of stress, because of this silent killer. And I understand love. Don't get me wrong. I understand love. There are some people you can't help what you love, but you only have one up to bat. And one day you're going to be the guest of honor in somebody's church, in somebody's funeral parlor, in somebody's service. You're going to be the guest of honor, and you don't want to leave stuff undone. You are, you know, I used to hear the old saying, you get married, the old ball and chain. You know when they become the ball and chain? When they keeping you stressed. See, somebody that's a blessing, that's heaven, they're not no ball and chain. It's them people that been married for 20 years that want to, you know, what did Robert Harris say? He said, some days I used to sit up and wish my wife died. So, when it, you know, so, because she said she was so mean, she slept with her fist ball up. And he said, when I could see her pulling her out. And he's like, is this her? Yeah, that's her. Get out of here. Yeah, that's her. Some people are committing suicide because they're in situations that they're not happy. No one, and let me just say this before I get into these points, no one has the right to have you stressed. Those balls and chain, I don't care. I don't want no ball and chain. I want an eagle that we can fly together. I don't want anything to chain me, because chains sound like prison. See, chains, when you think of the ball and chain, that means you got something heavy. You got something heavy. Let's see what Tracy said. Let go and let God deal with the issues. People of God, if you want to call in and you want to discuss this, or you got any points on stress, feel free to call in. The number is 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. I want you to call in, talk about stress. I want you to call in and say how you deal with stress. And I want you to give pointers. I'm glad to have you. Again, people of God, stress is a silent killer. I would love to hear from each and every one of you who want to speak on the subject. It's 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. I don't care how good a situation it is. If it's stressful, it is a bad situation. I'd rather be homeless with doubt and have peace than being in a mansion full of stress. The Bible said you would rather live on the edge of a rooftop than live in a house full of strife. I need peace. You know, when I first announced my engagement, everybody was like, "What?" Who thought I was gonna give them a chance or should have given them a chance? They didn't understand why I chose her, and I chose. She's a very beautiful lady. She's a great woman of God. She's a survivor. I admire her so much, but she gave me something that they couldn't give me, and that was peace. Because if I'm always fighting the world to be something, the last thing I want to do is come home and fight my wife, my mate, my love to do that. People got to understand that when you create a stressful situation, it has a lasting effect on that person's mind, that person's spirit, and that person's body. We have to understand, people of God, if we can't be peace or we can't get people out of stressful situations, we don't need to be them. You have to be somebody peace. But we have to understand and identify this silent killer. And right now, I am going to give you some signs and the things right now. I want you to ask yourself in your life right now, am I dealing with this? It's just me. One of the signs of stress is frequent headaches, jaw clenching, and pain. See, a lot of your pain and a lot of your frequent headaches, because I know some people out there dealing with some migraines, and that migraines is a direct result of stress. And if you got because a lot of people clench their jaws all the time, they're always in pain. Your body is trying to fight off that threat to it, which is stress. Stress is a threat to your body. So the reason why you have these headaches, you have this jaw clenching, you have this pain, is because your body is trying to fight off the stress. See, a lot of times we don't realize how stressed we are. We don't realize how stressed our day can be. We don't realize what we put on people, especially ministers and pastors. We don't know as members the pressures we put on them, or we don't know how people who depend on us, the pressure we put on them. And that is a stressful situation because you're saying to somebody, I can't make it without you. So you got to make it for yourself, but you got to make it for me, which is not fair. We have to understand, people, that as men and women of God, it is not right for a man and woman of God to make another man and woman of God labor under them. It is absolutely wrong. You cannot say, I have a heart for God, making men and women you making them labor under you. And those are things when you got people who don't identify that they are stressed, because you got those people that always, everything is okay. I'm all right. Everything is okay with me. No, you're not. That's why you keep getting these headaches. You know, I get headaches all the time. They come and go. They're coming and go because you are in an unhappy, stressful situation. Understand the signs of that. Do not be a fool. In everything, get understanding. Know why you having these headaches. Another thing is you grit teeth. You grind your teeth. There are some people who are stressful and they have to release that stress, so they grind their teeth. They grind them all the time. You got to look at that. Also, they're trimmers. You know, they always trimming the lips and trimming the hand. There are people who are nervous, that worries about everything. And let me tell you something. Worrying is not going to make the situation better. It is going to increase the stress level you have, which is going to affect your body, your mind, and your spirit. So, but there are people out there that tremble. You know they're stressed because they get to trembling, and they don't even realize they're trembling. See, to them, their body is still, but their adrenaline is racing, and it's a racing that's making their body, is making their hands move, and it makes it because they're stressed. They're worried about it. Another thing that this silent killer does, because see, what the silent killer does is give people warning signs that he's attacking you. Let me say that again. What the silent killer do is give you warning signs. See, one thing about stress just don't kill you. Just like overnight, like a gun, boom. No, stress gives you signs that I'm killing you. And stress a lot of times kill you slowly, but it keeps killing you. It kills you regularly. There is no killer more consistent than stress. I'm going to say that again. There is no killer more consistent than stress. And you would really be surprised your stress level when you look at how he is attacking. Now, it's a spirit. Stress is a spirit. Another symptom of stress and a sign that you're dealing with stress is a neck ache, backache, and muscle spasms. See, your muscle spasm is your natural body trying to fight off your stress level. It's trying to keep your body intact. It's trying to keep your function correctly. But the stress attacks that. It releases toxins in your body. So what happens is the natural resources in your body is fighting that. It causes you to have neck aches. It causes you to have back pain. It causes you to have muscle spasms. And everybody always say they got it under control. And I was a living testimony of that, because before God delivered me from stress, I used to walk in the middle of the night. My mom can testify to this. I used to walk, and I used to get a burst of energy, and I could walk 5 blocks in under a minute. And I was heavy then. But that was all that stress and adrenaline. And see, during the day in front of people, in front of families, I say the word of God. I felt like I had it all together. I was pretending. But then when I got by myself at night, when it's just me, myself, and God, then it started to come out, and the truth started to come out, and I had to walk. And I would get outside and then have to get right back in the house, or I would get back in the house and I would go back and forth. And people of God, it was stress, and stress is a killer. Another thing that makes you feel stressful, and you know that stress is attacking you, is that you feel lightheaded. You feel lightheadedness. You feel faint. You feel faintness or dizzy. That is stress. That is stress attacking your hypertension. It's making you have high blood. That's when people who do that, who feel lightheaded and faintness and dizziness, they're holding it inside. Stress is like a time bomb, and it will come out. There are some people are just too strong for themselves, and they sit there and they hold all that stress in to eventually somebody push them and it comes out, and they're fighting, or they explode to the point where they do something and hurt somebody and throw away their life. People of God, the worst thing you can do is hold stress, because stress becomes a cancer, and it keeps building in you and keep building in you until eventually it comes out. That's why you got so many people right now in jail. And I did the statistics. They are 1/3, and I want you to really get this. This is really powerful. 1/3 of the jail population in America are first-time felons who lost their cool in a stressful situation. 1/3 who have lived their lives good, have never got in trouble, have never been on the wrong side of the law, held in all of that rage until one day it came out and they lost control. That is the danger of stress. Stress can kill your body, kill your mind, your spirit, but it can make you kill somebody. Of that 1/3, 77% of that 1/3 that was arrested the first time for losing control are murderers. And there was a saying that a murderer was never a murderer until he became a murderer. And that's because you can push somebody to a limit, or they hold it in. You know, there was an old song saying it's a thin line between love and hate. And the second verse of that song, he said, "Here I am waking up in a hospital bed, bandaged from feet to head." I didn't think she had it in her. I didn't think she had the nerve. And people, you got to understand, when you're in a stressful situation, or people got you in a stressful situation, that you just in it to maintain. You're not maintaining. You're building all that up. And sometimes it can make you or cause you to lose your life. But the signs are there. The signs are there. Lightheadedness, faintness, dizziness. Another thing is in your ears, you get that ringing, buzz, and popping sound. That is a common sign and a direct symptom of stress. That's why you're hearing that. Because see, what's happening is your mind is racing, and your heart is racing, and your body is racing, but your body is, in appearance, is cool. See, there are a lot of people that is so stressed out. That's why when I talk to people, there's a limit with anyone. I hear you, Tracy. That's right. There's a limit with anyone. You want to call in, you welcome anybody want to call in, 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. there are a limit to everybody. And okay, my man Vito, you have to listen to your body. That's right. But you got to remember, your body is controlled by your mind. And see, if your mind is heavy, your body going to be heavy. I know I was 430 pounds, 245 from the surgery, but my mind was just as heavy as my body. I had all them pounds on my mind as much as I had on my body. So my body was just as stressed as my mind. And a lot of times we got to get that, people of God. When you see a lot of heavy people, they got a lot of heavy things on your mind, because what's in your mind is a direct descent on what's out the appearance of your body. See, you got a lot of people, but not all the time, but most time. Because you got a lot of people look good on the outside, they got everything good, but those are the people who messed up inside. See, you look at some of the serial killers, you didn't see them. Some of the serial killers, you didn't see them coming, because they were stand-up good citizens in appearance, but they were killing. When you look at, I was looking at John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy was throwing parties for kids, but he had bodies under his house. So you really don't know when people, but a lot of times people keep those things quiet. That's why it is not good, not saying that, you know, that man was sick, and a lot of them other serial killers was sick, you know, but you don't know. And see, a lot of times when you look at people, you say, this man got it all together. That's why when I go to church, I love to hear that. I love my pastor. I love ministers who tell what they've been through, who not always going to try to be elusive and make it sound like their world is great and they never go through something. See, people that never go through nothing, I don't want to talk to them, because you can't help me, because I need somebody that have been through some things, that have went through some stuff, that have gained stress or beaten stress and learn how to have a peaceful life. Those are the people that I want to listen to, because they've been something. But somebody that always got it together, everything is fine, and the bird, hey, I got a call. Let's see who I got. Let's see who calling. You on the Solutions Radio Show, Minister Wright. Who's this?
It's Tracy Ransom. How you doing?
Hey, Tracy, how you doing? How you feel?
I'm all right, man. I'm blessed and highly favored.
Hey, how you do? Man, how's the family? How's everybody?
Man, the family is good. Everybody doing good. We making it, man. We here.
Hey, so what do you think about stress and dealing with stress, and how do you deal with stress?
I think that stress is a spirit. You have to have an inner relationship with God, the higher being. Stress comes to destroy you because of greatness within you. And I had stress situations when my mom had passed. And I never believed that stress could be so powerful, but it can if you allow it to be. And I went through some issues when my mom had passed. I held it all in, and it took me like 3.5 years to come to realization that this was a spirit, and I was better than that, because what I was taught by my mother and by God. I went through a stress situation, and I came out with life crises, and I went through some more life crises, but it was only to become a blessing at the end. Sometimes stress is good, and sometimes stress is bad. It determines the road that God is trying to lead you down to. You know,
Right.
it's a lot of things that's dealing with the higher spirit. The higher spirit is our first and foremost. And in order to get our attention sometimes, he got to take us through some stress. Because a lot of us don't hear him for what we need to hear him for, Brother Corey. A lot of times we take things for advantage. We don't believe that we have to change our ways, our minds, and our thinking. We don't believe that. We have to go through things in order to know that God is who he is and who he say he is. And I dealt with stress by becoming great as I am as now, because I am a child of God, and I know that nothing can happen without God's concern of it happening. He's not going to allow no more on you than you can bear. And I did come out of it. And I thank you for the topic, because you were talking to me as you was talking about the stress, because I remember where I used to be, and now I know where I'm at now.
Wow, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Tracy. You know, and you remember, I know I was there when your mom passed, and you know, at your funeral, and you know, yeah, amazing, wonderful woman of God, amazing woman, her and your dad, and you know, I love the family. So thank you for sharing that with me, and thank you for calling in. Love you.
All right, love you too. Thank
All right,
you.
okay,
Bye-bye.
bye. Wow, people of God, that's one of my best friends that I grew up with. She's talked about, you know, when she lost her mom, You know, great woman of God, dad, great man of God, amazing people. And you know, it took us some years to get through that. But see, sometimes God, and I said that this morning, there's a greater lesson in hardship than it is in ease. You know, and sometimes God has to take us through things, stressful situations, to get our attentions, to build her up. And she said it made her become a better woman of God. So I love that testimony. Amazing woman of God. Thank you so much for calling in, people of God. And if anybody else want to call in and talk about how they dealt with stress or some stressful situations, please call in at 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. I got this fly in the studio that's trying to get on the radio, but the fly can't talk. Let me stop. And then Vito, man, thank you. And again, thank you for sending condolences out. Tracy and on her loss. And we have to understand that, people of God, that stress is bad, but there's some stressful situations can make us do better. Because see, sometimes we learn a great lesson in hardship, where it's the greatest annuities when things are hard and stressful. Because I know right now in some of the situations, especially at my job, say no names, no fame, it gets stressful, it gets petty. So the thing is, what it's doing is it's allowing me to work harder on my own. Because see, the thing is that a lot of things, stressful situations, it calls you to do better. Just like having a baby. I've never had a baby, but I've watched babies being born. And one thing I could tell you about a woman being pregnant is that when it's time to deliver, her water busts. And when a water busts, the contractions come faster and harder. See, and a lot of times we have to understand it's still the same thinking as far as life. When it's time for you to birth the miracle of what God put in you, things start to come faster and things start to come harder. And we have to understand that a lot of stressful situations is God's setup in his classroom to get us where he ordained for us to be. There are some places, and I always say this, that where God wants you to be, there is peace. You know, so a lot of times the situation that he won't allow peace in is just a situation to move you along to where he wants you to be. See, a lot of times you got to understand, in order for us to get to the promised land, we have to wait for God to open that Red Sea and allow us to walk through. Now, a lot of our stressful situations, just like that Red Sea, God will allow us to walk through without being touched. He'll hold that water up. But either way, holding it up, we still got to go through the sea. We still got to walk through those situations. So we got to understand that in life, we have to face those situations. They're going to come a time when I'm going to have to face situations, tough situations. We all are, and very stressful situations. But again, we got to know that God is with us always through every situation. He's never leave us or forsake us. He is always with us until the end of time. He is always with us. Let's talk about a few other things that stress can do. Because see, we got to identify this killer. And so many people are dying because they're not identifying the symptoms of being in a stressful situation. They're not understanding why these things are happening to me. Another thing that'll make you know that you're in a stressful situation or stress is attacking you is you frequently blushing and you sweating. There are some people that sweat all the time. That means that their body is working harder than it should. That's why they always sweat. And that's why I see people sometimes it is freezing outside and they're sweating. It could be overweight, because I remember a lot of times when I was fat, 400 something pounds, I would sweat. I would go right up the stairs. I would always sweat, always blushing. And see, a lot of things that we go through in life, you know, and it could be something that we're dealing with on our mind. It could be a bill that we need to pay. It could be a medical situation that we did. It would make us blush a lot and make us sweat. See, you can always tell a person who's going through stuff by watching their eyes, because you know why? They're constantly looking away and they're always blushing, because you know that they feeling a certain way. So they don't want you to feel that way. They want you to stay at a stable level saying, you know what, everything is all right. but you can look in their eyesight. I know a lot of people don't look me in my eyesight because God has given me insight into them to see what they're really going through. That's why I tell people all the time, you can hide from me, but if God wants me to know what you're going through to help you or to give you a word from him, he is going to make it known to me. And people of God, that's why you can see when people are blushing a lot and they're sweating a lot. Another thing is they always cold and have sweaty hands and sweaty feet. That comes from stress. See, we can have stress, and the killer of stress with our mouths, with our face, and with some of our body postures. But there are certain body functions and there are certain body parts that you cannot have stress. See, when you shake somebody's hand and their hand is always cold or clammy, you know that they're stressful because they're trying to make an impression. That's why you can see a lot of people you interview for a job or you interview, they're nervous. So when you shake their hand, you're shaking their hand, it's clammy. Or you look at their sweaty hands or their sweaty feet. See, your feet will sweat when you're nervous or things will happen when you're trying to have something. Another thing is dry mouth. See, you got a lot of stressful people that have a lot of dry mouth and problems swallowing. And that comes directly from stress. A lot of times because, see, they're trying to appear a certain way or they're saying it inside them and they're not sweating or swallowing or they're not letting the saliva fill their mouth up. And they have dry mouth and problems sweat because they are stressed. Another thing, and this is something that's going to blow people away because they blew me away from stress, is rashes. Rashes can form itching halves and goosebumps can form from stress. See, we got to identify the system. So when I said frequent blushing, sweating, cold sweat, cold hands, sweaty feet, dry mouth, problem swallowing, and rashes, itching halves, and goosebumps. Those are all direct symptoms of stressing. That's why, like I was just saying earlier, I look people in the eye, and I know when people are truly stressing and they feel in a certain way because most of the times they don't look me in my eye. And I always try to tell them, God has already revealed to me what you're going through. He's already revealed to me your heart. That's why you all might as well take the time to confide in me and open up to me because God has already revealed that to me. But you can tell by them people that blush a lot and don't look you in your eye. I look people directly in the eye because I want you to see my soul. I want you to see my spirit. I want you to see what's in me because you know why? The Bible said we serve God in spirit and truth. You will never have my spirit unless you will never have my truth unless you feel my spirit. And I always say that. So those are another frequent things. Another thing is unexplained frequent allergy attacks. Now, we all have allergy attacks. And we all may be allergic to pollen, or we might be allergic to cats, we might be allergic to something. But when you are frequently attacked by your allergies, when there is nothing around you, just people, it's them that's stressing you out, that's making you go into an allergy attack, being allergic to stuff. And let me tell you something, I don't say this loosely, but people can be allergic to BS. You can be allergic to devilish, dirty people. You know, a lot of times we take that lightly, but there are some people that suck the life out of atmospheres. There are some people that you just start sneezing when they're coming around because the stress level they give you make you have an allergic reaction. I did not know that. When I read that and researched that, that blew me away. That means that if I'm around a negative, dirty person who gets on my nerves and who causes me stress will make me start to sneeze. I have allergic reaction. So when somebody say I'm allergic to BS, they're not lying. They're literally allergic because stress can make your allergies or allergic. I'm late, but I'm here now. Hey, baby. Yes, Tracy. It'll make you itch. I'm telling you, there are people that when they're around you, you start itching. Now you understand because those people are stressful. You ever wonder why you around somebody, you just start itching and you just start scratching, you know, and you're sweating? That's because of them. People of God, listen to me. You are really allergic to BS. You are really allergic to bull. There are some people you are really allergic to. And they will make your allergy. That's why I'm telling you something. People of God, they will make you go into a scratching, sneezing fit because they're around you. I'm trying to tell you, stress is a monster, and stress is such. And the reason why I call it silent killer, because stress is tied into all these little things that we never think about. We think that this is our normal day. I'm sneezing, I got hay fever, I got allergies, I got sinuses. No, you're around some negative, dirty people. Take your allergy medicine, whatever allergy medicine you take. But if you're not sneezing, because one thing, I'm gonna tell you something, put it to a test. One day, don't take your allergy medicine and go around somebody that you can't stand. If you start sneezing, you know it's them. But then if you don't take your allergy medicine and go around people you like and you don't sneeze, then maybe it's the people. Because there are some things that you just allergic to. Like, I'm allergic to pettiness. I will never try to out-petty anybody. Because in order for me to out-petty you, I got to stay where you at. That is an allergic reaction of stress that I can't deal with. Petty people. Another thing that makes you have stress, that stress is related to, that you may not even realize, there are some people that you can't eat around. There are some stressful people that bring stress on your life that you cannot eat around. It causes heartburn, stomach pain, and nausea. There are some nauseous people anyway. But there are some people, that's why I tell people when I'm eating, listen, talk to me later. I don't want to hear what you got to say. I don't want to hear about her. I don't want to hear about nothing. I'm sorry. I'm a minister. I'll try to help you as I can. But wait till I finish eating. Because you know why? You can make my food digest badly by saying the negative things. Stress makes your food cause you heartburn. Because it's releasing chemicals in your body. At the same time, the chemicals need to be released in your body to break down your food. So what happens is, to cause heartburn, it is mashing together. So you got your body trying to fight off the enemy of it, which is stress, and you got your body trying to break down your food at the same time. You got your body overworking because you're stressed trying to eat. That's why when I'm eating with somebody, or I'm eating something, even though I have to eat light, I'm eating by myself or eating with somebody I love. If you got something to tell me after dinner, because I am not choking on my food. I am not having heartburn on my food. And I am not dying because I'm going to eat my food because you want to tell me about all this negative stuff. That's why I tell people all the time, if you're married and you're happily married, let the person get in the house and get something to eat and get settled before you, let me tell you what happened to me today. Let me tell you what's going on. No, wait, that can wait. Let's have some peace first. Let's sit down. Or matter of fact, tell me when the Mar come, when we're on our way out the door. But let's not bring it in the house. So talking to people can, while you eating, can cause you heartburn, can make your stomach pain and nausea, because you're releasing that fluid into your stomach that's trying to fight off that stress, which is making your stomach malfunction, because there's something that's going in your stomach that should not be. So it's making the food that you ate, which is good, toxic, because your body is trying to fight off the stress, but then at the same time, your body is trying to break down your food. Another thing is that it can make you belch. Stress will make you belch, and it pass gas, flatulence. That's the medical term for it. See, you got, I'm trying to tell you, you got some people in some situations that can make you belch and make you pass gas constantly. That's why you gotta be away from negative people when you eat. You gotta be negative people, period. Because you know when you're around somebody. That's why I know somebody don't like me when they're around me passing gas. That sounds crazy, but if they always belching passing gas, they got some stressful thoughts about me, or they coming from a stressful situation. Another thing is constipation, diarrhea, and loss of control. Do you know that there are people that can bound up your system, your digestive system, because you are in a stressful situation? That's why people who live in stressful situations, that's in stressful jobs, that's in stressful relationships, that's in stressful situations, they are constipated all the time because their system is locked up, because they can't eat, because their body is trying to get rid of these toxins that's released from the stressful feelings. So it's shutting down everything. Sometimes the body releases too much. People have excessive diarrhea because of stress. And there are a lot of people say, I can't understand why I'm going to the washroom so much. That's messed up my stomach. No, it didn't mess up your stomach, because everything you eat has to go through a digestive system. What it is those toxic people that you have in your life, those toxic situations, those things that you harbor inside that you have not let go, that is destroying your digestive system. It's making you use the washroom. And sometimes there are some people that can piss you off or that can mess you off, because sometimes you can be so stressed that you can use the bathroom on yourself and don't even realize you did it until it's too late. I'm telling you, people of God, you got to understand stress. Stressful situations can make you use the washroom on yourself. They can lock up your system where you can't go to the washroom, and they can unlock your system where they just let everything out. We got to look at stress, because stress is a silent killer that's connected to so many things, that is being hid in so many factors, and nobody is talking about stress. Nobody wants to identify their stressful situation. Nobody wants to identify the stressful people in their life. Nobody wants to talk about stress. Again, I wish my co-host was here. She was paralyzed because of stress. It was the power of God that allowed her to walk out of the hospital. And there are some people right now that did not die from AIDS, that did not die from a heart attack, that did not die from diabetes, that did not die from a lot of things. They died from stress. And nobody is worth your life. This is not baseball. You only get one up to bat. And if you strike out from stress, you are in the dugout forever until Jesus come back again and raise you up from the grave. You're going somewhere, either heaven or hell. But you don't have no more time on this earth. I'm telling you, people of God, stress is nothing to play with. Another thing about stress, and I'm going to tell you something that you know when you stress, is that you have insomnia. You have nightmares and disturbing dreams. That comes from stress. Because, see, a lot of times we able to suppress stress by being busy. And I said on my CD that a lot of times, you know, we don't resolve issues in our minds. So what happens is we try to outwork it. Let me stay busy. Let me always be in somebody's function. Let me always be in somebody's life. Let me always doing something. But see, you got to realize something. Your body can't go forever. You can't always stay busy. Eventually, your body going to need to rest. And when your body is tired, that's when your mind finally say, hey, I got time to say something. I got my time. And you cannot get no sleep. You got nightmares. You got people chasing you. You got disturbing dreams. You got people trying to kill you, when it's your conscience telling you you're killing yourself because you are stressed and not doing anything about it. You can't let people stress you out, people of God. Bible, God came to give us peace. He said, trade your yoke for his. His yoke is peaceful. You can't, there are some people that you have to just get rid of. You got to say, okay, my life, my peace is too much important for you to stress my life out. And you know you stress because you cannot go to sleep. You know, I'm going to tell you something. You know, when you're in a stressful relationship or a stressful marriage is when one of your mate or the other go to bed without you. Sometimes one could just be sleepy. But when I'm going to bed with my wife. We're going to bed together. If I want to watch TV and I'm not sleepy and she is, well, I'm going to go watch TV in the room with her. But if you want to always constantly go to bed by yourself, there is something wrong. There are certain things that you can really identify stress in a relationship, in a marriage with your mate, is when you always want to do things separate. The Bible says you are one. So now, not saying that you don't have your own, you might have your own interest. Not saying that. But there are some things that commonly couples should do together. And a lot of times you can't, because you have insomnia because the other person or you are stressed in the situation. And a lot of people stay in situations for certain reasons. You know, a lot of people can see, like Denzel said it better than anybody. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. But your life is more than the stress that you're going through. People of God, another thing is you have difficulty concentrating, racing thoughts. See, a lot of times people know when I'm stressed. And because you know why I'm stressed? Because I can't remember nothing. I have people all the time tell me, didn't I tell you? I told you that. Yeah, I can't remember it. Especially when I come from a job or come from a place of negative, dirty, backstabbing people. I can't remember nothing. Because my mind is not on that. My mind is cleared with I'm trying to get rid of the nonsense. So sometimes get rid of their nonsense, I have to clear my whole mind. I don't remember nothing. So I tell people all the time, forgive me. You know when I had a rough day, when I don't remember what you told me. It's not that I just purposely don't want to remember. But when you do a job where you deal with emergencies all day, and you deal with dirty people all day, then you wonder, you realize that, you know what, I can't control or hold things in my mind the way I want to do that. So a lot of times, when you know you're in a stressful situation, it's difficulty concentrating. You're racing thoughts. You always got racing thoughts. Y'all people saying, y'all people trying to figure out something. People, we got to understand something. One of the greatest stressful things in the world is trying to figure out what God has already figured out. Hey, Esther, how you doing? Amen, ma'am. Thank you for calling in. Tuning in. Anybody again, you want to call in 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953 if you have any comments or anything. But we have to, one of the most stressful things that we put ourselves under is that we're always trying to figure out what God has already figured out. There are some times when we got to understand, we have to let go and let God. That is one of the most stressful situations we're going to always be in, where we're going to have difficult concentrating on our racing thoughts, is because we're always trying to figure out something that God has already figured out. There are some things that God will not let you ever succeed at and do yourself, because he wants to show you in the world that was him. Because if you can do something without God, you wouldn't need a God. It would be a reason for a God. But you can't. You have to do things according to what God has for you, what he can do for you. And whenever you get to the point where you say that it's me, you have already lost, because you can't do nothing without God. You got to understand that you under God, even through the bad, God is with you. Even through the pit, God is with you. Even through the jail, God is with you. And when you get to that palace, just like Joseph, God needs to remain with you. See, a lot of people, they got God in the pit. A lot of them got him in the prison. But when God takes them to the palace, they leave him. See, you got to always keep God with you always, because you know why? Just like you just came to the palace, you can go right back to the pit. And there are so many people who are going right back for the pit because they keep leaving God in the palace. But that's another story. Another thing is, we have to understand that we have to know when we've done all we can. You know, Donnie McClurkin said, when you've done all you can, you just stand. And there are some times in life where you just got to stand. You can't do no more. You can't figure it out. But there are some people that stress day and night and worrying because they're trying to figure out or find the angle to something that only God can open the door to. See, once you give it to God, you got to give it. That's why when he told them when they was marching around the wall of Jericho, he said march 6 times. See, he was really saying, okay, I told you I was going to deliver you, and the wall coming down. Now don't bother me no more about it. See, we got some people that don't trust God, and they're praying day in and day out for the same thing like God did him the first time. You keep praying, they're going to make God move no forward. All you're doing is stressing yourself and stopping it. Because, see, a double-minded Christian, double-minded in all his ways, he gets nothing. That's why you got to believe, God, did you know what I need? I believe you're going to do it, and that's it. You know, it is so in Jesus' name. We can't keep getting on that, because I see people praying all day, Lord, give me this. Lord, you know what I need? Lord, I need this. Lord, God already knows it. You know, when you look at Daniel, the answer, God already sent the answer. That's why, you know, with an angel, and it sent for the archangel Michael. You know, the angel, God answered the prayer 21 days earlier, but he sent it already. And there are blessings that God has already sent. It's already on the way. He already heard you, but you got to believe. You got to believe, and you have to pull it out. You have to pull it out of you. You have to pull it out of the spirit by faith. You got to have faith, people of God. Another thing about stress is when you are stressed out, people, you have trouble learning new information. See, these are signs and symptoms of the serial killer stress. And stress is definitely a serial killer because it gets into everything. It's directly tied to so many symptoms and so many things. And whatever you're going through, it magnifies it by 10 times. So whatever you are stressing about, whatever problem, so if you have high blood pressure, if you have diabetes, you have, by being a stressful person, you have just intensified it 10 times. We have to understand that whatever we're going through, we have to go through it strong, but in a peaceful manner and not stressed, because when we go stressed, it will keep on making us be stressful. And that's something that we have to understand. Another thing is you feeling overloaded, overwhelmed. See, that is one of the greatest things about stress that we have to get and understand. When you are stressed, you feel overloaded and overwhelmed. And there are some people that, and I said it earlier, that you cannot be a man or woman of God and make somebody labor under you. I don't care. We got kids. A lot of times our kids overwhelm us. They overload us. We got our spouses overload us. They got some people in the churches that overload us. We have some people in our community. See, one thing is to do something for people, and you got to give your all, but at the same time, you can't do nothing for somebody if you're not strong in yourself. So you can't put yourself out to help people all the time. I had to learn that the hard way, and it became very stressful to me because I was one of those people who would give my last and give my all to people and be left without nothing, and then get mad at them for not helping me when it was not their fault because they never told me to give them their last. I did it. Even if they asked me for it, it was still my choice. And we have to understand it's our choice whether we give people our all or not. And it's nothing wrong with giving people our all, but we don't want to give people our all at the expense of what we have. Because if we give people our all at the expense of what we have, then we're left without nothing. So when you feel overloaded and overwhelmed, and I say that to anybody, you're not for me, or you're not in my corner, you don't love me when you make me labor under you, or you make me feel overloaded, or you make me feel overwhelmed. See, if you got me overloaded, overwhelmed, you don't love me, because being somebody's love of their life, being somebody's mate, being somebody's relative, being somebody's confidant, being somebody's best friend, you have to be their peace. And you never, ever, ever want people to be overloaded because of you. I'm never going to put more on you than I put on myself, but I don't ever want to be a burden to you. I want to be an asset to you. I want to be somebody that lift you up, build you up. I don't want to be somebody that always take from you and tear you down. Now, there's nothing wrong with needing people, or there's nothing wrong with helping somebody, but don't ever do it at the expense of you, because sometimes you can't get stuff back and you praying to God to give you more, and God like, well, listen, I've given you everything you asked for me. You keep giving it away. And I had to learn that. There was a point with me that kept me stressed because I felt like in order for me to help people, I had to stay down with them. See, I didn't realize that I can bless you from afar. I can bless you from a distance, because you know what? I'm not helping you in the gutter if I come and live with you in the gutter. Now, I can help you in the gutter if I can help you out of the gutter. And that is something that I had to get. That was something that was really powerful to me. That was something that it took me years to get that. And there are so many people that's trying to help people in a bad situation. They're trying to help them, not understanding that you cannot help me if you're going to stay with me in that situation. That is the greatest level of stress, that you will feel overloaded and you will feel overwhelmed. And that is such a great sign, because you know why? If you have no peace, it radiates in your entire life. Wherever you go, You can tell the people that's going through rough time because their response is a rough time response. You know, you tell somebody, say hello, they be like, yeah, hell is low. How you doing? I'm feeling terrible today. And they don't understand that, again, when you look at that and you look at what you're going through, it radiates. Wow, people of God, my video stopped. I'm still going, people. I'm sorry. My Facebook stopped, but I'm glad you guys watching. Again, we have to get to a point, people of God, that we can't put ourselves out for people. We know we can't do that and do that. I don't know why stuff stopped, but again, people of God, we have to realize that difficulty concentrating is another trouble learning is another form of stress. That is definitely another form of stress, and we have to get that. We have to understand that, and we have to realize that when we have trouble learning, that we're super stressed. But people, God, I'm sorry that my it stopped. I'm back. I apologize for that. Another thing is when you're stressed, you forgetfulness, and you're disorganized, and you're confused. See, a lot of times, a lot of these things that happen is from stress, being forgetfulness, disorganization, confused, difficulty making decisions. That's another form of stress. Again, I'm sorry that the broadcast ended. I'm back, so we'll finish out the second hour. This phone is crazy. It just does what it want to do sometimes. I apologize. Another thing is when you're stressed, you frequently have crying spells of suicidal thoughts, and that's serious. Let me get into that. See, there are people who are very, very emotional. And they're very, very emotional because they're very, very stressed. And being that they're very, very stressed, they're very, very emotional, they can cry to dime. They have suicidal thoughts. And they often have thoughts of dying or what will happen to people if I die or stuff like that. Those are people who are stressed. And a lot of times being stressed, you can be stressed in a situation, it can cause you to get tired. But we have to understand that God has a purpose and God has not left. See, I tell people all the time, why would God bring you this far just to leave you? Why would God bring you through out of all those abusive situations, all those negative relationships, all them bad people? Why would God bring you out of all that just to leave you? And we have to understand that God is a faithful God. And God is not going to deliver you from the lion's den just to let you get ate up by another wild animal. No, he's not going to do it. So you have to understand, but you can tell people who are stressed. They really have a lot of crying spells. And and the reason why they have these crying spells is because they got so much built into them that they won't let out. And see, what stress wants to do, stress wants to be a bank for your pain. Stress wants your body to be a bank, wants your mind to be a bank, wants your spirits to be a bank. Stress wants to keep everything in because stress knows that you only have a certain amount of capacity before you bust. And that is something that stress wants you to do. Stress wants you to bust, to explode, wants you to be a bomb. So a lot of times it gives you suicidal thoughts. And I'm going to tell you something. I read this and I wrote this down, and I wrote this down before. 98% of people that have committed suicide was coming from or out of a stressful situation. See, stress calls you to think about suicide. And we could think about suicide by not just thinking about taking our life, but we could think about checking out. Stress. And I can make light of nobody's stress because a lot of times, we don't know what people go through, or we don't know what they've been through. See, all I can do is try to get you to live for today. Live for the promise of God. Live for what God has given you now. Because see, every time we let a stressful situation we haven't let go, we keep regurgitating it. We keep bringing it up. And what happens is it makes our body go through it over and over and over again. But the thing is that our mind cannot relate to our body that this is not happening over again. Every stressful feeling, every effect of your body that happened when you were in that stressful situation happens all over again with your body. Even though your mind is saying no, it happens again. That's why it is so imperative, in order for you to move with somebody or move on with somebody in life or be happy, you got to get rid of those stressful tendencies. You got to let go of what somebody did to you, because if you don't, you'll relive it with that person. I often ask this question: how many relationships have people lost because they didn't see the person in front of them? They kept seeing the person behind them in front of them, and they kept living for what's behind them in front of them. And then they wonder why what's in front of them becomes what's in behind them, because they keep living from what's behind them in front of them. I say to anybody, you can never make me pay for a sentence or a crime that I never committed. And so many people who are stressed and not let go stress are making people pay for what somebody else has did. That's why we plan all the time for where we've been opposed to where we're going. That's why we always say, I've been through this. Can't nobody tell me this. See, you're really not saying to the new person, what you're trying to say is, I'm going to stop you from doing what the other person did before you even did it. But then you already have a preconceived notion, a preconceived mindset, preconceived thinking, and a preconceived way of doing it. And you keep getting what you had instead of get what God has for you. Another thing is stressful situations, or people who are stressed, they often feel loneliness or they feel worthlessness. See, a lot of times stress will make you feel like you're nothing. And that's why people keep you stressed, because they are nothing. And the only way it makes them feel better than being nothing is to try to make you feel less than nothing. I want you to really get that. That's why people try to stress you. That's why they say bad things to you. That's why they put you down, because they know that they're nothing. So what happens is they're trying to make you feel less than nothing. So they have nothing good in their life, but to make them feel a little bit better, they make you feel low. Stress people. Another thing is that when you stress, you can tell a person that's stressed, they have little interest in their parents. They don't care, or punctuality. A stressful person does not mind being late. I say this all the time. A lot of times when people are late to something, they're stressed because they don't mind being late. Because you know why? You can't say nothing negative to an already negative, stressful person to hurt them. So a lot of times if somebody say, well, you know what, I'm going to come late. If I have a guest on my show and they come late, they don't care about being late because they're already in a stressful situation. So if I say something to them about being late, it doesn't make a difference to them because they're already in a stressful situation. And another thing with that is they don't care how they look. You got some very attractive, beautiful women that don't dress attractive because they don't feel that they're attractive because they're stressed. Because see, what happens is when you're stressed, you don't see your beauty anymore. And there are too many amazingly beautiful women that's out here that don't see their beauty. I hear so many times somebody say, I don't see what you see in me. Why not? You didn't stop being beautiful because you stressed. You didn't stop being beautiful because somebody hurt you or cheated on you or dogged you. You didn't stop becoming an amazing person because somebody did you wrong. You have to understand that somebody's perception is not your reality. I'm going to say that again. I hope it helps somebody. Somebody's perception is not your reality, people of God. You got to realize just how amazing you are and what God made you. See, that's what stress makes you. Stress makes you forget that you're a vibrant person. You're a vibrant woman. That's what abusers make you do. That's why they want you to live in fear, because they never want you to reach your potential or know you have potential. That's why when you get a lot of men who have these women who put you down or be verbally abusive and attack them, because they don't want you to see your worth. Why would somebody want something good and they lost it to go somewhere else to be better? So they're going to put this stain on your brain that you are not as good as you should be or you could be, and make you feel low. But people of God, that is a stressful situation. You have to know who you are. And you got to know who God made you, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So you have to take pride in your appearance. And I'm going to tell you something. There are some people that's so stressed, they are wearing their stress on their bodies. You can see how they dress. You can see what they're going through. They are dressing stressful. My pastor said that one Sunday that he used to not wear his new clothes because he didn't want people to think he was showing out, or people saying that he taking the money buying club. But he got out of that mess. You can't worry about what people think, because people are stressed and they're going to respond in a stressful manner from a stressful situation. That's why I never ask a nasty, dirty person a peaceful question, because they can't give me a peaceful answer. They can only give me a dirty, nasty answer. See, a lot of people don't want to understand or hear the truth because they come from a negative perspective. That's why it's so important. Another thing that stress does is a silent killer another symptom is it makes you have nervous fidgeting habits. You can't stay still. See, you can really tell a stressful person because they can't stay still. They're always trying to see the bright, because you know what? They don't want you to see how vulnerable they are. See, when you really love somebody, and that's why it's so important to have somebody love, because when you are in a stressful situation, you can be vulnerable to them. There is nothing like having somebody that you can have vulnerability with, that you can open up to, and you can share your all, and they don't judge you. There is nothing like that in the world. That's why it was so beautiful to have the woman I have in my life now, with the peace, because I can open up to her and tell her what's in my heart and what I feel without her being judgmental. It is amazing how many people stress you out, that they try to judge what you've already lived, or they try to turn what you say against you. See, that's why I've learned that in a lot of relationships I've been in, that's why when you're with the wrong person, what the wrong person does is try to take what you've been through to use it against you in a later argument or an advantage in a relationship. See, that's why you have to get. That's why, I tell people all the time, ask for discernment, pray on something. Feel my spirit. Because, see, when you open up to me, I want you to know that I'm a man of God, sent from God, and I'm going to give you what thus say the Lord. And what you say to me is between you and I, and we can open up. But I'm not going to be one of the people who because, see, a lot of times relationships, they're always looking for the one-up. And these dirty people, they love stress, but they wait till you're in a bad situation, and then they hit you in the gut with what you told them, to try to get advantage. You could be abused. You could be abused by your wife, or you could be abused by your father when you were a kid. And when that low down man hit you, the first thing he say, you know what, you should be used to this, because this is how your dad did that, or something. You know what I mean? There are some people who have been talked to any kind of way, who do not know how to be curt, respectful, or know how to be tactful in what they say, because they grew up in a household where everybody used the MFs and son of a these and son of a that. So when they talk, it's normal to cuss somebody out. It's normal to jump in their face. It's normal to hurt. And there are some people that's living in stressful situations, that's making stressful situations, that don't realize that that is not normal. We have to stop making making stressful situations and non-normal situations normal. Just because I can survive in a place that is detriment and dirty doesn't mean I'm supposed to live there by right. See, that's what people realize. They stay in situations that they're in because they have made the dysfunction normal. They have made the negativity normal. They have made the disrespect normal. They have made all these derogatory things normal and knowing how to work with it. I don't want to work with something that's outside of what God has ordained for me and that has given me. That's why, again, when you look at stressful situations, they make you overreact to petty annoyances. See, it is so dangerous to hold in stress. Stress is like C4. When you hold in stress, the littlest thing, that's why when I'm stressed at work, I will go home sick. You can write me up, I don't care, but I'm going. Because there could be a little call or a little situation, or somebody could say something to me, and I'm gone. And see, I realized that, you sometimes people have got, and I'll go and get it out and then come back and deal with it with a square mind. That's why my grandma, God rest her soul, used to always tell me, Corey, take time to think about what you're going to say. Never let nobody rush you into saying nothing. Take time to think about it. Gather your thoughts and then come calmly, tactfully, and skillfully to discuss this situation with somebody. And then if you can't get no resolve, then move on. But never talk out of emotions and never let stress overwhelm you and let you operate in stress. When you operate in stress, things can happen. Again, like I said earlier, out of the population of the United States of criminals, 1/3 are first-time felons or criminals that has lost their cool over a stressful situation and landed them in jail. And 70-something% of those people that was the first time that landed in jail was those people who murdered somebody and lost their cool because they were stressed. You cannot let stress get to you. Another thing is that when you're stressed, which is a serial killer, let's get a silent serial killer that will kill you, that so many people are being taken out from stress. It increased the number of minor accidents. See, when you are stressed, your coordination is gone. You start knocking over stuff. You start running into stuff. You have car accidents. You have accidents because your mind is not on stuff. The worst thing you can do is to drive or operate a motor vehicle stressed, because see, it's that stress that might take away from a pivotal point for you to make a move, or for you to turn, or for somebody you didn't see that you can hit. See, one thing about stress will make you kill yourself, but it can make you kill somebody else, because stress can be that defining factor that can take your mind off of the task at hand or what you're doing. There are times, and I admit this, that I have been stressed, that I have parked my car and drove from one place to another and didn't even realize how I got there. And there are some people are doing that. That's why road rage. That's why people get out of their car and shoot somebody or blow somebody away, because they're so stressed, and then that little horn or that little finger, whatever they did in that car, has made you want to go kill them. People of God, stress is a killer. Another thing about stress, and you got to look at this, because see, a lot of these things people are dealing with, they don't even realize that they're stressed. They don't realize that they're committing suicide every single day being in a stressful situation. If you are in a marriage, you are in a relationship, you are in a job, you at somewhere that you are stressed, it is killing you. It is killing your body. It is killing your mind. It is killing your spirit. And I'm going to tell you something about whatever you're dealing with in your body. The minute you are stressed, it is intensified. I'll say it again by 10 times. So if you got 10 pounds in your hand, if you add stress to the other hand, then you got 100 pounds in the other hand, and study 10, because it's multiplied 10 times. Effect due to stress. Another thing is you become obsessive, compulsive behavior. See, when you stress, you obsess with good things. See, there are some people who look at me and be obsessed with me, or obsessed with the man of God, obsessed with their pastors, because they are so stressed in their life that they become these obsessive church people. And that is something that I say all the time. When you don't deal with the stress in your life, church becomes a drug, and the pastor or the preacher becomes a drug dealer. What happens is he sell you a good feeling, and you go back home to your misery. And see, we have to understand that we cannot be compulsively obsessed with the man and women of God to change our lives, because we have to change ourselves. Because a prophet and a preacher and a man of God is just to confirm what God has already showed you. So you have to understand and get that, people of God, that you can't obsess or have compulsive behavior, because you concentrate on the only good things in your life, because you got to concentrate on getting rid of the bad things in your life. See, a lot of times when you got to concentrate on one thing, because I have a best friend of mine who always look for my word, or always say, you know, I'll be glad if you come over, give me a word, and pray for me. But see, you got to know how to pray for yourself. You got to know how to understand, because you got to clean house. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you stay, you know, you're the one that's stressed, not them. Because see, you're the one that's holding the bag. You're the one that's doing all the work. And see, the people that do nothing is not the stressful people. It's the ones that trying to make a change. But some places you just can't make a change in. See, you can't save everybody. And you cannot save somebody that want to commit suicide. I tell people all the time, you can help somebody that don't want to do it, talk them out of it. But if a person really wants to hurt themselves, there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. See, a lot of times we got to understand we control our choices, but we don't control our consequences. And our consequences can have devastating effects, or it can take our life due to our choices. That's why we have to be smarter in our choices. See, a lot of times we come to God and we complain about the consequences, but we never said nothing about the choices. See, that's why he said, have this mind that's in Christ Jesus in us, because we have to be right from the beginning. Now, God knows we're going to make mistakes. Everybody make mistakes, but there are a lot of mistakes with a lot of bad consequences we didn't have to make. You know, there was a lot of times in life, there are a lot of things that we could have done differently if we would only did the situation. One thing I've said, and I admit, there were a lot of things that happened to me in my life that I was the reason why it happened, because I made the choice. Every dirty man, every dirty person, everybody that ever did something to you, you made the choice. That's why it amazes me how many men and women fight and, you know, or hate each other afterwards, but eventually you didn't hate them, especially when you got kids by her, or you got kids by her. You didn't hate her when you was having kids. But see, the thing was you made that choice. It is amazing how many women and men use the kids as weapons against the other kid, other parent, when you weren't using that kid when you were together. This man don't do nothing for his child. He's a deadbeat. He don't do this. Well, he was the same man before you. He was that man when you met him. But you wanted him and you got him. Just like that woman. Now you fight that woman in court. But that's the same woman you just had to have. See, there was a lot of people with some of my son moms that said, don't get involved. But I just had to have. So, okay, I did it. I made the choice. Now I had to deal with the consequences. And we got to understand that, people of God, stress is a choice. And stress has consequences. And we got to learn how to deal with that. Now, there's a lot of other things that we can get into about stress. And I got a lot of notes. It attacks 7 systems. Stress does. Stress attacks your nervous system. When you stress physically or psychologically, the body suddenly shifts into an energy resource to fight off the perceived threat in what is known as the fight to flight response, sympathetic nervous system signals. So your nervous system is affected by stress. Another thing is your muscular system. There are some people who are dealing with muscular issues, under stress. Muscles tense up. That's why, they contract muscles, they extend periods, and they trigger tensions, headaches, migraines, and various muscular skeletal conditions are directed towards stress. That's the reason why athletes, they have to always be clear-minded when they fight. When they fighting in the ring, when they playing basketball, when they playing football, whatever they do, because a lot of times you can cramp up from stress. Your body can shut down from stress. It attacks. Another thing is that respiratory system. Stress can make you breathe harder, cause you to rapidly breathe, hyperventilate, which can bring a panic attacks to some people. Stress, people. There are some people that's so stressful in your life, they take your breath away. See, there are some people that make you waste your breath because you've talked to somebody so stressful that no matter what you say, they always got something negative. See, those are the people. I'm not trying to convince you of nothing, because if it works for you, it works for me. I'm not gonna try to convince you, because if you say that the sky is blue, green, or it's gray to you, it's gray to you. And sometimes we have to understand that talking to people that's closed-minded, that know everything, will stress you out. I have stopped doing that. I have realized that, and I used to debate with people. Usually, I was a debater. I was one of those people that's going to tell you what needs to be said, and there it is. I'm not no more, because, it's just like in certain jobs. You're not going to change the culture working for somebody else. They have a hierarchy already set up. They have negativity already set up. You're not going to stop the culture of some places. The way you beat places is to lead places. That's how you beat them, to get your own. But some people, you're never going to convince them of anything. They always know they're always right. That's why I tell people, I would rather be wrong with God and moving than to be wrong with God and right with myself and stagnated. Most people always got an answer to everything. And only thing in this life that will never lie to you is your results. So if you always know everything, then again, I'm not going to try to talk to you, because that'll make my respiratory system go bad, and it's breath that I can't get back, wasting my time talking to you. Another thing that stress can do is can attack your cardiovascular system, your heart. Acute stress can make you have a heart attack. It can increase your heart rate, strong contractions of the heart muscle, blood vessels direct to the large muscle to make your heart dilate. It increases the amount of blood that's pumped in the part of your body. It repeats these episodes to eventually lead to a heart attack. See, I'm going to explain why stress makes you have a heart attack. And there are a lot of people that have had heart attacks from stress, and they don't understand what stress does. Stress, acute stress. Stress is a momentarily, such as being struck in traffic. A heart attack happens like being struck in traffic. It just, bam, it happens. It causes a decrease in the heart rate. It causes stronger contractions to the heart muscle. Blood vessels that direct blood to the large muscles to the heart dilate, increases the amount of blood pumped into these parts of the body. Repeated episodes of acute stress cause inflammation in the coronary arteries, which leads to heart attacks. People of God, you're making your heart overwork with stress. You're killing yourself from stress, people of God. That's why you have to be away from stressful situations. And I'm going to tell you something. There is nobody and nothing worth my peace. There is no money. There is no beauty. There is no feeling. I don't care how good you feel. I don't care. You are not worth my peace, because you're not worth my life. And there are people that are killing you because you are stressed in a situation. My man, Masha, I got my cousin Masha watching. I know I'm a celebrity now. And it's so funny. I need to have him on the show that the radio show is right around the corner from where he live at. But wow, man, you got to reach out to me. But we have to understand. So first, stress is a silent serial killer that kills you and kills your body. I appreciate it, cuz. Love you, man. Appreciate it. That kills your body. It attacks your nervous system. It attacks your muscular skeletal system. It attacks your respiratory system. It attacks your cardiovascular system. It attacks your gastric your gastro system. I can't even talk. How you call it? It affects your digestive system. Your digestive system, again, it'll bound you up. It can release you. It can kill you. Another thing it does is your ectorin system. That's your adrenal glands. That it can when you're stressed, it can cause you to produce a system that sometimes we call stress hormones that can make you feel horrible, that can bring down your immune system, and that can kill you. But here's the thing that it really stress, and this is for the ladies that won't have babies. When you're stressed, it will hurt or destroy your reproductive system. See, when you cause a woman stress, you can make her have a miscarriage. And see, what happens is it puts a system, or puts a chemical called cortisol in a stressful solution in your body, which can have adverse situation effect on your reproductive system, which impairs your testosterone and your sperm production, and it can make men impotent. See, a lot of times men don't want to have sex with women, especially at older age, and they can't have sex, or their system shuts down. It's because they're stressed. It's a proven known fact that men can have sex into their 80s and not have erectile dysfunction. But a lot of times that comes from stress. It comes from body stress. Another thing is, in women, stress can cause an irregular menstrual cycle, more painful periods, and it can reduce their sexual desire and make them have miscarriages. See, stress can stop us from reproducing, period. Stress is a killer that's not playing with anybody. It is a killer that, in terms, it is overloading people daily and making them struggle in life. And I'm going to talk about some things that we can do to reduce stress. And let's understand what stress is. Stress is our body's natural defense against predators and danger. It flushes out the body of hormones to prepare the system to evade and comfort danger. This is known as fight to flight mechanism. I'm sorry, I can't even talk. Mechanism. We have to understand that stress is terrible on the body. Some stress is good. And I'm going to tell you why some stress is good. Stress is good when you're in a situation of life and death, meaning that you're stressed that you got to do something. Stressful situations will make you do better. It will make you get out of situations. Some stressful situations will make you say, okay, I got to change my life today. I have to do more today. See, there are some stressful relationships that, you know what, I got to get out of this. I got to go and do better today because tomorrow's not promised to me. There are some people who've been in a stressful situation, been beat, been abused by abusive people, that know that, okay, I am stressed, that I have to get out of this. See, you got to think about something. Stress is when you think you're going to get caught. I got to leave now. There are some women that have left in the middle of the night when their men was asleep, and they were stressed, like, you know what, I got to run for my life. Stress will even make you make a change or make you run for your life. Sometimes you got to run for your life. And I mean that figuratively and literally. Sometimes you have to get out of a situation because it is killing you. And if you don't do nothing about stress, you are committing social and you are committing slow suicide. You are committing genocide on your own body because you are in a stressful situation that you got to get out of. But let me talk about some things that you can do to combat stress, because there's so many different emotions of stress. You got anger, anxiety, burnout, concentration issues, depressed, fatigue. You got a lot of things. Another thing that you might stress might do, it might make you go to things like you have food craving, you might eat too much. I was very stressful and my mind was full. That's why I ate all the way to 417 pounds. When I first went in to have surgery, but I got all the way up to 430, almost a 450. So I was a shade off of 500, people of God. So you got to realize that stress will make you eat. It'll also make you have certain outbursts. A lot of people that have outbursts, they just feel like going off. They just I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. No, you stress. Any side you live on or you sleep on is a good side. So some people have that outburst. Another thing is they drug and alcohol abuse because they're stressed. High tobacco consumption and social withdrawal. And a lot of those factors. Let's talk about some of the factors. Then I'll talk about some of the things. You have job issues, retirement issues, lack of money, bereavement, family problems, illness, moving, relationship, marriage. Those are all things of stress. But let me tell you some things you can do. The first way you can fight stress is exercise. See, exercise will get rid of that. When I first had my surgery, and the doctor said I need to hire a personal trainer. And I did that 6 weeks after surgery. And I'm glad I still use the same trainer. I still work out. I still do the same thing. But the trainer said, take all those negative, hard feelings, take everything that everybody ever said to you and take it out on the weights. Take that negativity out and exercise it and get a positive result from it. And see, negativity and stress it's energy. It's not destroyed or lost. It's merely transferred from one place to another. And see, we have to have an outlet with our stress. So what my outlet was those weights. So everybody that called me a fat name, everybody that never did nothing for me, everybody ever hurt me, everybody ever did anything negative to me, the weights became them. And what I did was I worked out in anger at the weights. I worked out in anger at them. And therefore, when I left the weights, I left the anger on the weights. And what happened was my body got a positive effect from that. And you have to have a release, people. Exercise is a release that you have to put that negativity in. See, you can't put your negativity in your partner. That's where you lose. You can't put your negativity into people because all you do is make them into that negative point that you're trying to leave. So what you got to do is you got to find a hobby. It could be music. It could be radio. It could be whatever you have to do. You have to find that, but it should be God. Read the Bible, pray about it, put on your spiritual songs. Do whatever you have to do, but find a release and let that go. Don't let that fester in you and becomes your enemy and become your cancer and make you lose your life, literally, figuratively, spiritually. No, don't let it lose your life. You have to find an outlet. Another thing is you have to when you're stressed, reduce the intake of alcohol, drugs, and caffeine. You have to reduce anything that'll change your being, change your mentality, change your actions, change what's in you. You have to get rid of that. Another thing is nutrition. One thing you are what you eat. And a lot of times we become food because we're stressed. A lot of times we overeat because we overindulge in our mind. We're overstressed. We're low self-esteem. We feel terrible, so we overeat. We have to eat nutrition balanced stuff that makes us feel good, that allows us to eat better and feel better. Another thing is we have to prioritize. We have to prioritize our time of getaway. I'm going to say that again. We have to prioritize our time and get away. See, we can't always be available to people. We can't always be available to certain people. We have to prioritize who we are available to. And we have to always be prioritized to be available to that person that means the most to us. That's our peace. See, there are certain hours that only negative people will get of my time trying to help them. But my lady, the one I love, the one that means the most to me, the one that's my peace, she gets all the time. She gets the most time. She gets the prioritized time because she is my lady. She is my peace. She makes me feel good. Another thing is time period. See, you got to have time for yourself every single day. That is one way where you eliminate stress because you have to have a release of the day. That's why a lot of people that call me, I don't talk to immediately. And I've had relationship problems because when I get off work and I'm getting off 911, the last thing I want to do is get on the phone and talk about what's going on, the issues of the day. I want to come home peace, and I want to get rid of all the negative phone calls, all the negative people. I want to have a spiritual bowel movement. I want to let it all come out. Then I want to come to you on a fresh plane with a fresh mind, fresh agenda, and a fresh spirit. I don't want to bring that negative all day, all work spirit into our conversation because you didn't do any of that. So why should you pay for that? Or why should we talk about that? See, a man's house is his castle. Same thing with a woman. So if you have no peace in your castle, like the Bible says, you rather live on the edge of a roof than a house full of righteous, than a house full of strife. You have no peace, then you make the day become longer. So you take the same old ugly day into the same day in your home. You don't want to do that. Another thing is you have to learn how to breathe and relax. See, sometimes you just got to know how to breathe. One thing I love about my mate, and I know she's watching, I love her dearly, is that she know how to get me to breathe and relax. A lot of times she just hold me and say, breathe. And you'd be surprised how many toxins you release from breathing. Let me just hold you and breathe. See, a lot of times we don't hold each other and we don't breathe. See, we're ready to go in because we need somebody to hear what we're going through and study breathing. Another thing is we got to talk, but we got to talk to people that's uplifting, that's spiritually gifted, and people that want to motivate you, inspire you, not tear you down and tell you their problems. See, one thing you got to do is just like you have to watch what you eat, you know what you're allergic to, you have to watch what you take in your body and take in your mind and take in your spirit. There are some people that just want to overload you with their mess or their garbage. You can't take it. See, when you're feeling stressed or you feeling overloaded or you feeling like you need a release, you have to talk to people that you can release to that can pour into you. See, when you release something, you need somebody to pour something into you. That's why when people release what they got to say, I try to pour in God's word and pour in something good. So you need to release for a point. Another thing you have to do, which is very, very important, is that you have to acknowledge the signs. That's why I gave all these signs and gave all this stuff today, is because some people are out there don't even know they're stressed. Some people are dying daily from stress and killing themselves and intensifying the things in their body because they don't even know that they're stressed. Some people are in situations that are stressful that's killing them. They commit genocide to their own self because they don't realize they're stressed. You have to do that. Another thing is you have to find a distressor. You have to find something that makes you feel good or someone makes you feel good all the time. I don't care what kind of day I have. I don't care what I've been going through. I don't care what nobody said. When I'm in Antoinette's presence, I feel at peace and I feel good. It's all gone. I told you she brought me down in 5 seconds. And it's normally, I don't calm down like that for nobody, but 5 seconds. Peace. And the last thing I'm going to do before I close the show is that you have to establish a support network of positive people. I'm always on Facebook. I'm always connected to people. I'm always connected with motivational speakers, uplifting people, and people of God, because you got to always stress to be treated like a disease. It is a disease, sir. My cousin, my shine is a spirit. And we got to fight that spirit by recognizing what it does. Man, I'm glad you tuned in. Another thing is we have to get a support network of positive people. Your network has negative people in it, you don't need it. You got to have people that can pour into you. We pour into each other. And if I'm pouring into you, you pouring into somebody else, we all pouring into each other. We all got full pictures of love, of sanctity, and of growth. So people of God, build you a network of people that you can pour into and that can pour into you. I thank you guys for tuning into the show. I hope it helps somebody identify those things in you and identify those stressful situations. And it's not worth your life. You only have one to bet. It's not baseball. You don't have three. You only have one to bet. You got to go for the home run. And you can't do that stress. People of God, tune into tomorrow. I got Tennille Jackson, bestseller author, amazing person. She'll be here at 11 a.m. in the morning. God bless you, brother. God bless everyone. Thank you for watching. Tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Remember, if it was easy, there would be no Minister Corey Wright. If it was easy, there'd be no Earl Winfrey. If it was easy, there'll be no you. See you at work. Love you.
Just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming.